Winter, 1968. In the countryside, just outside the city of Sacramento, California. Aaron was just under 2 years old and had come down with a bad case of the croup. As the days passed, his breathing became more labored until finally he could not breathe at all. Frantic and terrified, his parents, Mark and Karin, carried him to the car and sped off toward the hospital, his mother shaking him periodically to keep him breathing and alive. Time and speed were, of course, critical, but Mark just couldn't drive any faster. Not only was it a winding road, but a thick, dense fog obscured the road and forced him to slow even more. As he drove, Mark desperately prayed, as mightily as he ever had, that the fog would lift and that his son might live. Can you imagine the emotion and intent of that prayer? But the fog didn't lift or part. Instead, it became even more dense. Onward they went into the gloom. Now, frustrated and angry beyond all reason, Mark began to curse that fog and the God who had power over it. He called God every name he knew, and he knew them all. Mark had not grown up a Christian. His mother was an atheist, and only recently had Mark come to Christ. But now, if God would not so much as part that fog that his son might live, Mark was through. That was it. He was done. He would quit church and probably become an atheist like his mother. Finally, fog still thickening, they arrived at the hospital. Mark scooped up his son and ran for the entrance. A doctor was standing there and met them. "What's wrong?" he said. And Mark and Karin quickly told him of their son's condition. The doctor listened and then said, "Thank God for the fog." Mark said he reeled backward in shock. Seeing his reaction, the doctor explained that one of the ways they would treat Aaron was by putting him in a misting tent with water vapor to help him breathe. But they couldn't make the mist as fine as the fog. The doctor then told them, "If it wasn't for this fog, your son would be dead." He then took Aaron and rushed away. Mark was stunned. He turned and walked out of the hospital and back to his car. He climbed in, sat down, and with tears apologized to God. "I had called him all the names," Mark said, "and yet he had answered my prayer in exactly the opposite way that I thought he should have. That taught me a lot of things," Mark continued. "One, have trust in him. And two, luckily, he doesn't always answer prayers as we think he should." Mark concluded by saying, "That's where I knew that God loved us, loved me, which surprised me, and cared about a child." Aaron lived, and today is a faithful father over his own family. And Mark, that day changed him forever. To this day, he has never cursed the fog again. I'm Rawson, and thank you.